How did I make profit trading NFP on the 6th of June 2025 using 0.05 lot size? So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step on how to trade any high impact news. Yes, I'm going to show you the strategy I normally use to trade high impact news and make profit. So let's move to the video. So before we begin, I would like you to understand that there are 4 types of traders regarding news trading, regarding any kind of fundamental. So the first type of traders are those who trade the news before news release, like they place their orders before news release, 5 minutes before news release, 1 minute before news release, 30 seconds before news release. These are the first kind of people regarding news trading. And the second type of people are those who wait immediately after news release. They take their position after knowing the initial direction. So those are the second type of people. They don't trade, they don't place their order before news release. They trade their order immediately after news release, maybe 5 minutes after news release, 1 minute, 10 minutes after news release. That is after they've gotten their initial direction. So, and the third type of people are those who trade before the news. However, they only put in their buy stop or sell stop, and buy limit or sell limit. So these are the third kind of traders who trade news. And the fourth kind of traders are those who avoid news completely. Why? Because they can't afford to risk whatever it takes. So now let's break down the steps we need to take in order for us to trade news successfully. However, I'm going to show you the strategy I used to trade this NFP on the 6th of June 2025. So I traded after news release. I didn't trade before news release. So, but if you want to learn how to trade before news release, I'm going to drop the video very soon. So make sure you subscribe, like, and also click the bell notification so that you get to see whatever we are posting in the nearest future. So let's get started. So we are going to take 6 steps in order for us to trade successfully. If you want to trade news successfully, you need to take these 6 steps. So the first step you are going to take is for you to check news forecast and previous. Yes, forecast and previous is the first step you are going to do, and that is you are going to check it 24 hours before NFP. You are going to do that 24 hours before NFP. You check forecast versus previous. So how do you check forecast versus previous? I know a lot of you know how to do it. You can use investing.com, or you can use anywhere you feel like using, but I personally use investing.com. So how do you do that? So all you have to do is to download your investing.com app, or you go to investing.com and then go to calendar, check the forecast versus previous. Let me quickly show you. So download the investing.com application, then log in and then come to more. After clicking on more, go to calendar. After going to calendar, all you have to do is to what? To check the news. Like as you can see yesterday, as you can see, this is NFP. So you check for NFP. You can check for NFP, search for NFP and check. You can just go to, if for instance you are checking 24 hours before the news, then you are going for tomorrow. If you go to tomorrow, you see NFP there. So you see NFP, which let's say this is NFP. You see you just click on NFP. After clicking on it, you are going to see a forecast and previous. Actual will not be there. I hope you get it. So that is the first step we are going to take. Check for NFP, forecast versus previous. Make sure you write this down. After this, what do you do next? The second step you are going to take is for you to go to myfxbook.com/community/outlook. What are you going to do here? You are going to check for market sentiment, like what are traders thinking regarding this coming news. So you are going to check for market sentiment using myfxbook.com. Just go to myfxbook.com. After going to myfxbook.com, this link I showed you, this is it. As you can see, you can just read the market sentiment for Forex sentiment. You see, you can just just come to myfxbook.com. Whatever pair you are thinking of trading, just click on this. Click on this. After clicking on it, as you can see, then pick what you want to trade. For instance, I traded gold yesterday. So as you can see, I just clicked on gold and then allow it. After clicking on gold, that is all. Then you come back, you see the community trend. As you can see, this is showing you the sellers and buyers, short versus long. I hope you get it. So you check the market sentiment, you check everything about market sentiment. As you can see, you check the market sentiment of whatever pair you want to trade. So after that, the third step you are going to do is 30 minutes before the news release. 30 minutes before the news release, you go to your trading view. After going to your trading view, what you are going to do is to mark your key levels. What does this mean? Mark your key levels. As you can see, yesterday before the news release, market was around here. Market was around here. Let me quickly use this. Market was around here, around 33.58. So you mark your key levels. So with this, I already know that I have a zone around here. I have a zone around here. I will mark it. I hope you get it. I have a zone around here as well. I will mark it. I have another zone around here. I will mark it. So you mark your support and resistance zone, supply and demand zone. That is 30 minutes before the news release. Notes: 30 minutes before news release. After you've marked your zone, what you are going to do is, since we are trading after the news release, you are not going to be entering any trade until after news is released. However, 30 minutes before the news release, mark your key zones, key levels. Now, as I mark this level, I knew that if market should break this level, definitely it might test this zone. I hope you get it. From this zone, it might decide to drop back. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So mark your zones correctly. Mark your zones correctly. After marking your zones correctly, what do you do next? We are going there gradually before you take the trade. So what do you do next? Now, on the 30 minutes before news release, you need to check DXY. DXY, dollar strength. You need to check dollar strength. 30 minutes before news release, just search for DXY. Search for DXY. Check dollar strength 30 minutes before news release, and also mark zones on that dollar strength. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So as you can see, before the news release, this is the dollar strength, and I already know that we are going to have a pullback. We are going to have something going up. I hope you get that. Is 30 minutes before the news release. Now I'm beginning to understand that dollar is going to be strengthened. Dollar is going to be stronger than before. However, I won't be sure until news is released. But from dollar strength index, I will know that dollar is likely going to be strong. And when dollar is strong, what do you expect pairs with USD at the end to do? They will fall. And pairs with UXD at the beginning will rise. If DXY, let me give you the concept of this DXY. What is this DXY? This DXY is dollar strength index. It is used to measure the strength of US dollars. So whenever you are trading, or if you are a trader, you know that if DXY is moving up, then any pair with, let's say, any pair with USD at the end is going to what? Is going to fall. And any pair with USD at the beginning is going to what? Is going to rise. Know this concept. If DXY is going up, things pairs like GBP USD, XAUSD, EUR they are going to what? They are going to drop. As far as dollar strength index is what? Is moving up. And if dollar strength index is coming down, just know that any pair like USD JPY is going to what? Is going to come down. And pairs like XAUSD is going to shoot. So now, 30 minutes before the news release, I'm going to mark my zones from what? DXY. You know, DXY can also be traded. Like, I mean, it can also be marked, it can also be analyzed. So you analyze DXY as well. I hope you get this concept. So analyze DXY. Know where dollar strength index is going. After you've analyzed DXY, that is 30 minutes before the news release, what do you do next? So now, this is where it gets interesting. So we are going to wait patiently for news release. Why are we waiting patiently for news release? This is because we are going to trade after news release. We are going to trade after news release. So we wait patiently for news release. So now, why are we waiting patiently for news release? We've already seen that, okay, we've already analyzed our DXY. We know where dollar index is going, dollar strength is going. I hope you get it. Also, we've checked market sentiment. We know where dollar index or dollar strength is going. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. And also, we've already analyzed, technically, we've analyzed our pair, the pair we want to trade. We've analyzed it and we've marked our zones. I hope you get it. So these three things will now make us to wait patiently for news release. Now, after the news release, are you going to trade immediately after news release, or you are going to wait for a few minutes? So the thing is, let me give you one concept that a lot of people will not teach you. So if you want to trade news release after, that is post news release, you need to understand these things I showed you. So after understanding these things, you tend to look at something. If market spikes, for instance, this is where the market is, and then immediately after news release, market did something like this, just know that this is a fake out. This zone, market is likely going to drop. This is to tell you that the first spiking direction is likely going to be a fake out liquidity sweep. I hope you get it. This is a concept a lot of people will not teach you. So if market, just test it in the next upcoming news. If market should spike, goes up and then comes down, just know that market, the initial direction of market is not up, is down. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Market might spike down. The initial direction of market is not down, is up. This is just a liquidity sweep. I hope you get it. Just understand this concept. So now, immediately after news release, what do we do? So we are going to enter trade 5 minutes or 3 minutes to 5 minutes after news release. This is where, or this is when we are going to enter trade. And before we enter trade, we need to look at three things. The first thing we are going to look at, we will go back to our what? Our investing.com and check the forecast versus actual. So now let's go. As you can see now, immediately after news release, we are going back to investing.com. After going back to investing.com, we will now realize that forecast is now there. Forecast is now there. So now that we have our forecast, sorry, I mean actual is there. So now that we have our actual, we have our forecast, we are good to go. We now have our direction. Then what is the direction? That is the question you'll be asking yourself. What is the direction now? So one thing you need to understand with this forecast versus actual is, let me give you the concept. If forecast, if a forecast comes, if actual comes out to be greater, higher than forecast, then the market US dollars is likely to be stronger. That is, US dollars is strong. Get this concept. If, for instance, immediately after the news release, before news release, we have our forecast, we have our previous. You get it? Forecast versus previous. Now, if actual comes out to be higher than the data of forecast, that means US dollars is strong. Get this concept correctly before we take the trade. Dollar is strong, and that means any pair with US dollars at the end is going to drop. Like XAU USD is going to drop, GBP USD is going to drop, EUR USD is going to drop. That means we are going to be selling. I hope you get it. Just know this concept. I want you to understand this concept. If actual comes out to be higher than forecast, just know that US dollars is stronger, and what the pair compared to the US dollars is going to drop. Like EUR USD will drop, XAUSD will drop, but USD JPY will shoot up. We are going to buy USD JPY, we are going to sell gold. I hope you get it. So now that we have our direction, what do we do? That is where the previous comes. You will now look at the previous. And see, okay, previous NFP. What happens during the previous NFP? You see, the previous NFP is, you now scroll down and check the previous NFP. What happened? This is the previous NFP, isn't it? Previous NFP on the 2nd of May 2025. You analyze this, just all these things you are going to do them after the news release. It will take you nothing less than 5 minutes to do all this analysis. You check now that we have our current actual and we can see that it's greater than forecast. Now we've gotten that, okay, US dollars is strong, isn't it? That is number one thing we need. Second thing we need is to check the previous. This is the previous, isn't it? This is the previous. Now what you are going to do is, you check the previous what? You check the previous NFP. You check the what? Previous NFP. What happens during the previous NFP? The same thing. Actual was greater than what? Forecast. You will now check, go back to your trading view. Go back to this date. Go back to what? This date. You should go back to this date on your trading view. the date of the previous NFP and check what happened during the previous NFP. What happened? So if NFP previous NFP was sold because of this, what because of this, then you know that this is definitely also going to sell, because previous I mean, actual is greater than forecast. Actual is greater than forecast, and this one sell. This one is definitely going to sell. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So now that we have our initial direction, what is the next step we are going to do before we what? Before we take our trade, what we are going to do is to go back to our trade. After coming to our trading view, we will now check our DXY. What happened to DXY? We will now realize that immediately after the news release, you can see that your zones were not broken. Your DXY zones were not broken, telling you that dollar strength is stronger. So that means you've gotten your direction that definitely gold is selling for today. I hope you get it. Gold will be selling for today. After you've gotten that gold is going to sell for today, what do you do next? What you do next is you go back to your what pair you want to trade, the pair you are going to trade. So what you do is you use your technicals. You use your technicals, like your analysis, the zones you marked. Was the market able to break your resistance? No, it wasn't able to break the resistance or the place I drawn. It wasn't able to break it. That is to tell us that definitely the market is likely going to drop down. Now we've had multiple confirmation that NFP initial direction is a sell. And what is the confirmation? The last confirmation we got, the last confirmation we got was the spike. I told you from the beginning of this video is, if news is released and then you see market goes like this and then comes back like this, you know that this is a fake out. This is not the initial direction. The main direction is down. This is a liquidity sweep. So what happened during the NFP will now help you. Or what happened if there was a spike? If there was a spike during the news, you will now have direction that, okay, where did the market go? Market went like this, isn't it? And then comes. That means what happens? We are having initial direction as a sell. So if you check the previous NFP, the NFP, we had a spike, and the spike first went up and then down a little bit. So it's now started playing around here, isn't it? But what was the initial direction? The initial direction was a sell. So now that we've had our multiple confirmation, then how do we enter the trade? For you to enter the trade, you are going to wait at least 5 minutes after the news, because for you to do all this analysis will take you 3 minutes to 4 minutes. So 5 minutes after the news, you now take your position. You will now take your position, which is going to be a sell position. So that is how to trade NFP. That is how to trade any kind of news. Use this strategy and thank me later. So you are going to enter the position after the news because you've gotten your direction. And how do? You are going to your zone. Your SL should be above your zone, where you realize that market hasn't been able to break. So you need to wait. And if you realize that during or after the news volatility or the market wasn't steady, it goes up down, goes up down, you know the direction is a sell, right? But the market keeps on going up down, going up down. Wait, even if it's going to take you 10 minutes, wait for that 10 minutes for market to calm down. Market usually calms down like 5 to 10 minutes after news release, but first 1 2 3 4 5 seconds or 5 minutes during or after news release, market is going to be wiping people out, because a lot of people don't know this concept. They know that this is the direction, right? Because forecast, or I mean actual, comes out to be greater than forecast, then they know that sell is the position, is the direction. So now they'll start placing their order immediately. But market makers, the smart money, they tend to take your liquidity. They know that liquidity is lying around there, so they will wipe here, wipe here, wipe here, wipe here. But like 5 minutes to 10 minutes after the new release, the market will calm down. It will calm down and start moving to its direction. So you can take your position from here. You can take your position and then target your next support zone. And if it's a buy, then you target your buy, you target your next resistance zone. So someone might be asking, how would you know then if it's a buy position? How would you know if this is going to be a buy position? So it's simple. You just need to use what we excuse me So you just need to use the data we have here. So I told you, if actual comes out to be greater than forecast, then dollar is strong. And if actual comes out to be less than forecast, then dollar is weak. If dollar is weak, any pair with USD at the end will be shooting up. You are going to buy. Any pair with USD at the beginning, you are going to sell. And if dollar is strong, then you are going to buy any pair with USD at the beginning and you sell any pair with USD at the end. That is just the simple concept. I hope you get it. So this is the simple strategy I used to trade NFP yesterday and made my own cash using 0.05 lot size. Very, very simple and risk free. So you need to take note of risk management whenever you are taking the trade. I hope you get it. As you can see, I marked my zone. This was the first zone, and I knew if this thing is broken, it's going to retest here. I hope you get it. And unfortunately, this wasn't broken, and I already know the direction is a sell. So I will now monitor the market, get my position, take myself from here, and then what happened, I will target here. And then fortunately for me, this was later broken. I will now take another position again because I know if this is broken, this is the next target. And then what happened, this was also broken. Then now I now targeted this place, but because it was Friday, I didn't wait. I had to exit around here. Why? Because I don't want to hold position during weekends. So that is that about how to trade any kind of fundamental. So I am going to show you step by step on how to trade news before news release. Yes, I'm going to drop the video very soon. So if you want me to drop the video, make sure you comment on the comment section. I am going to drop the video very, very soon. I'm going to show you step by step on how to trade before news release, how to trade after news release, and how to avoid, or when to know when to avoid news trading. So make sure you like this video, share if you have friends. Also, comment and also make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.